All right, welcome back to the Sanders Kitchen. I'm Mike. Today we're going to be finishing up. We have part 3 of the Sicilian fig cookies. This is Frank Davis's recipe. Part 2, we made the dough, and I had a little trouble with the dough, I'll be honest with you. It was just a little bit too wet for me. So I had to put it back in the mixer, add a little bit more flour and a little bit of water, and I played with it until I got it to make a dough ball. And then when I rolled it out, it looked great. And I'm going to show you how that looks right now. So what we have here is the fig filling. We have our dough, our cookie dough. We have a wooden rolling pin. We have a little dough cutter right here, or scraper, or whatever you want to call it. We have this little mat, the silicone mat, that I like because it's got the inch marks on it, right on the mat, and it's hard to get anything to stick to it. We have a little water right here because you want to wet your hands when you're fooling with the figs. That way the fig don't stick to your hand. And I have a scale. And here's the reason why. Because I'm going to put my scale on right now and make sure it's 0. Because I'm going to go ahead and grab a handful of dough. I'm going to show you how this works right now. I'm going to put some dough on here, and I want to make it 10 ounces. Okay? So we're at 9.3. And 9.9 is close enough for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll it into a little ball right here. Right in the middle. Make a little ball out of it. And then I'm going to roll it gently with my hands until I roll it out to about 10 inches. Okay? So I'm taking my time, and look, it's about 10 inches here and 10 inches there, and it's not perfect. You know, it's a little bit short on that end, so let me try to do this again. Okay, yeah, that's close enough. Doesn't have to be perfect, all right? So now we take a rolling pin and we'll start rolling it back and forth. So which way do you want to roll? This way or this way? Well, I like to go this way first because it's going to spread it out. And you put a little pressure on it as you're rolling, and it will start to spread out. Okay? It's also going to crack a little bit. But once it starts to spread, then you can go this way with it a little bit. But you don't want it to be real thick. This is why I like to use the scraper part, because I will push it back together on the ends, and then I'll keep rolling it. Okay, so what you're seeing here is we're just rolling this out easy, a little at a time. And you want to get it, you don't want it too thick. That's really what we're after. We don't want the dough to be too thick. That way your cookie dough is like super thick. But then on the other hand, if you get it too thin, then it's just all going to crack up on you. So right now, I'm at 15 inches over here, and I'm at 13 over here. And I think the dough could probably go another, now I'm at 14 over here. So look, you see, that's why I like this, because I can kind of measure out, what I have. And there you go. So I'm happy with that. That looks great. Well, let's turn our scale back on, and I'm going to wet my hands up a little bit. And I'm going to go in here and grab a handful of this fig, and we'll weigh it out. I think I was using about 5.5 to 6 ounces. Look, it doesn't have, you can put as much or as little as you like. Really, that's 6 ounces right there. That might be a little bit too much. That's 5 ounces. Let's start off with 5 ounces. Now, with wet hands, you can see it doesn't stick to your hands. If you didn't have wet hands, this stuff would be sticking all over the place. So what you do, you can take about half of it and roll it out in your hand like a hot dog, and then just lay it down in there the best you can. Some's going to have a little bit more, some's going to have a little less. So See, roll it out like that, and then just lay it right in there. Now, okay. See, that's not too bad. Now, here's the other part. It's a little tricky. You might think, well, how about if I grab this and pull it up? That didn't work for me. So what I'm going to do is grab the dough with my fingers and pull the dough up over the filling like this, see? And if your dough isn't the right consistency, it would just break up and it won't work. It won't work right. So then at that point, what you do is you just roll the whole thing over like this. So you got yourself one long fig cookie. Well, it's a little bit too long, right? So here's what you do. You take this rolling pin and you flatten it just a touch. And now you got more fig cookie. Look at that. I mean, you could roll this thing out and flatten them up just a little bit, but again, see how the dough is kind of cracking right here. We don't want to release the cracking. All right. And then the really simple part. Now I'm going to bring my little cookie sheet right here so you can see what's going on. All right. So this cookie sheet, this thing is lined with a silicone mat, and that's just a barbecue mat. It's nothing really fancy, and it works great. So when we bake it, it won't stick. You don't have to spray it or anything. I love this thing. So what you do is you get yourself a nice size cookie, about 1.5 inches. And look, this thing even has a little measurement on it. So 1.5 inches is going to be about right here. And you just push it down, and there you go. You got a cookie. Okay? And you want to make it glide a little bit better, you can put a little water on it. And now, whoever measures? No one. No one measures. So you just make them as big as you want. If you make them too small, they just I don't know. Don't make them too small. Just go ahead and make them about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. That way, when you got a nice fig cookie in your mouth, man, you know you're gonna love this thing. Okay? You are going to love these cookies, I'm telling you. And look, that's it. That's how you do it. Now this cookie right here, I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to leave it a little long, and I'll just put it right in there, and that's it. So really, that's how you do it. It's not rocket science. So I find that you know, using the scale and weighing everything out just kind of helps you keep everything uniform, and that way you know how much dough to use for so much filling. And you know, I think that's what you're going to do. So what we're going to do is make a whole bunch of cookies, and let me tell you ahead of time, you don't have to use everything you have all in one, you know, cook session. If you want to come back, you know, make sure this is covered with cellophane real good, put it in the fridge. Hey, guess what? It'll work the next day, the next 2 days, no problem. I would take this out and let it warm up a little bit. I wouldn't try to make them while it's cold. I think the figs kind of, you know, work a little bit better when they're a little warm. But anyway, the next thing we're going to do is make a whole bunch of these cookies, and then we're going to show you what they look like in the oven, out of the oven, and then how to ice them and everything. So in this video, you will see everything. Of course, you know we're going to be working while the camera's off. So just hang on, and we'll make it happen. Give us a few minutes. Look at these beautiful cookies. They're not baked yet, but we did use all of the dough, and we didn't even use half of the filling. And I put a lot of filling in these things. So you can have more cookies. Just put the filling in the fridge, okay? Anyway, we made 86 cookies out of the dough recipe, and they're all getting ready to go in the oven. 400 degrees for about 15 to 18 minutes. They're going to brown up. Then we're going to let them cool, and we're going to ice them up, put some sprinkles on them. They're going to look beautiful. We'll see you in a little while.